she is one of those artists that just says all killer, no filler whatsoever.
Yeah.
She's the John Wick of music, basically.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, it's just all action. And I think that even though her projects are short, it feels short because it loops around and you're already at the beginning, but it doesn't really feel as though pieces are missing.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. This is another episode of Album Mode. We review a new album every single week. We look at the lyrics, the production, the overall aesthetic of the album, and how the album fits into the context of that artist's career. For everyone watching on YouTube, make sure you like this video, subscribe to us, and of course, leave us a comment. Let us know how wrong we always are. My name is Adriel Smiley, aka AdrielSmiley.com, aka Adriel Smiley Official, aka The Godfather, aka Champion Scribe. We're here with His Royal Highness, aka The Bunny, aka No Longer a Munch, aka Green Goblin, King Grant.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Soundbites. This time we're reviewing. Should I call her the Great? Is she the Great yet?
No, bro.
Not the Great yet. PinkPantheress. Fancy that. Her latest mixtape, non-album mixtape.
Yeah, she loves calling them mixtapes.
Yeah, she loves calling them mixtapes. I guess it's 9 songs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, technically 8 songs because song or track number 5 is an intermission. But she's here. She's back. We're back. One of my favorite artists, to the point of all time. She's reaching all time for me personally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She's had 4 projects that I just absolutely adore. Mm-hmm. And she has been able to maintain this level of consistency despite making music that is outside of the mainstream currently, but still able to touch the mainstream. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows who PinkPantheress is if you're a music fan. If you're a music fan, you know who PinkPantheress is. And then she's also had these brushes with Ice Spice going number 1, brushes with Central C, et cetera, right? So she has been able to touch the mainstream, get close enough, but never get lost in the mainstream, right? So she have songs with Rema, like we're still in the discourse, despite having her own space. Really, I don't think anybody is really touching her in her space right now. So fancy that. How did you feel about this album when I put it on the calendar?
Well,
this mixtape, sorry.
I knew we were going to review this because, you're a bigger PinkPantheress fan than PinkPantheress herself. So.
Check out my vinyl that you could only get in England, by the way. Shout out to my cousins in England bringing me to the record store so I can go and pick it up.
Yeah, no, I knew this was going to be one that we had to review. I wonder if she would consider herself touching the mainstream. That's what I would be interested to see because I don't think of her in that way at all. I think she's one of those artists who's insanely popular by the traditional metrics, but is not at all in the mainstream to me. So I wonder if she would consider herself, quote unquote, touching the mainstream.
I think she's done an interview recently where she said, I can't believe that so many people like my music. I can't believe that I'm even considered
I saw
mainstream.
That. Yeah. And I think that's kind of how I view it as like, I don't know if she's one of this group of artists who, some of my favorite artists are from this group where their music is more popular than they are as celebrities. Mm-hmm. And I think she's like at the top of that list where it's like, I don't think everyone knows what she looks like or is a fan of her as a celebrity, but her music is all over the place. And so that I think is a great place to be in as an artist. It's rare in this day and age. I think a lot of people are more celebrity than artists.
True.
But for her to be the opposite, I think is pretty cool. Before we even get into the production here, because I think that's obviously the place you got to start with PinkPantheress.
Yeah.
Is way too short. Like, you called it beforehand.
Best 20 minutes of my life, baby.
Yeah, you're a super fan. So everyone listening to this, take anything Demar says with a grain of salt. He may be right at certain points, but he is not unbiased. He's a super fan already. No. He's drinking the Kool-Aid. No. He's deep in it. If Demar had tattoos, he would have a PinkPantheress tattoo.
Let me explain, okay? Just because an artist is one of my favorite artists, it's because of merit. It's not because I'm just totally in the tank for whatever.
I said you may be right at sometimes. But I think they should still know that you are a super fan. And again, if you had tattoos, you would have a big pink, right? right on your clavicle. So
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of this. To me, it is too short. Like, and too short is not saying it's bad. It's too short because it's good. Like, twice listening to this album, I was just getting into this, and then it ends.
Yeah, I think this is a great point to start talking about PinkPantheress and her music in general. Is that she never has a situation where I feel like the songs are too short.
Yes.
Listening to all of the songs, they feel the correct length.
Yes.
I don't think she's ever had a bridge in a song.
No.
and I can't remember what the last outro for a song sounded like. She is one of those artists that just says all killer, no filler whatsoever.
Yeah.
She's the John Wick of music, basically.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, it's just all action. And I think that even though her projects are short, it feels short because it loops around and you're already at the beginning, but it doesn't really feel as though pieces are missing, right? And that's I think the best attribute to her music is that it's short, but nothing ever feels like it's missing. So she has figured out a way to make these really short but complete songs. And you can listen to an album or mixtape. This is a mixtape where it still sounds complete. You get this feeling of, I want more just because it's so good, not because, well, for me, and I think for most people who like PinkPantheress' music, you're thinking like, I want more because there's just more, I just wanted more of the good stuff.
but to me, that's still too short. Like I'm not saying it's bad, but it's too short, you know? And it's like, that's just a factual thing. Like a 20-minute project is like, that is just too short in general. Like, the project is good, and I think as fans, of course, we want to kind of give her the leeway of, it's so good, we don't care how short it is. That's fine. You can be a fan of whoever you want to be a fan of. The project is too short. That's just the truth here. And I think why I bring that up first is that seems like that's never going to change.
Yeah,
I feel like she's into these 20-minute projects, which is, it's this thing in its own right because, I do have a problem with the projects on the other end of the spectrum that are like an hour 20.
Yeah.
I don't want that either.
I'd rather have a 20-minute than an hour 20.
I agree with you, but for me, I'm like, that really, I guess, hurts how I feel about the project because I'm like, you clearly have all these good songs that are full records, where it's like, to me, this doesn't even feel like a full project in the same way. It feels like a taste of a project.
Right.
Like, it's like, for example, this is what I would listen to in HMV when I was younger. I would listen to the whole album. Back in the day, you couldn't do that. You couldn't listen to a full album. You got to listen to the features, maybe 3-4 songs, and get your rocks off. Yeah. You can listen to this full album in the store.
Yeah.
Like, and so it's like, I think maybe people have different ears now. The younger crowd of like, they're used to the short, albums from her maybe. But in terms of like a full album experience, it feels like right when it's about to get going, it's cut short. So that's what I want to say up top is like, I think that is something that I will always have a problem with when it comes to PinkPantheress. I think
I'm in love with it, and I'm going to tell you why. Because if we're doing a song like Illegal, which is in my top 10 favorite PinkPantheress songs, even though that's, a very small list of songs.
I was like, all right.
Top 10 is like 30%. But Illegal, that is one song that I just want to hear multiple times in a row. So even though that the mixtape is short, I get to hear that multiple times in whatever I'm doing. And those stabs that they're like, dun, 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 dun.
Yes.
The production on this album, I need like a new Forza to be made or a new SSX to be made so I could just hear PinkPantheress' music in these tracks. There's in these games because there's so many times I've been driving, listening to this mixtape, and a song like Forza comes on and I want to floor it. The pace of her music is obviously she makes drum and bass and a little bit more house. It's a little more housey now. But making drum and bass, it's always going to be like high tempo. There's always going to be this urgency to their music. But when a song like Illegal in particular, that song is made for Forza. Her music is made for an arcade racing game. Like, Initial D in the arcade, Forza. I'm trying even a Need for Speed, right? Whatever racing game you're thinking of, these songs need to be in it. Illegal is one of those in particular. Those stabs at the beginning, those. I mean, I just feel like I need to floor it. I just need to go. You know, that's what the song makes me feel like. I need to go. I need to go run. I need to go do parkour. I need to do something.
You sound like a toddler who's been in the house all day and just needs to get outside.
That's how it feels. Maybe that's just me when I listen to her music, but that song in particular, and Tonight is also like that. And it has that, again, that Forza racing game feeling. Like that one's more SSX. It has a more hollow feeling to the synths that allows it to be more of like, you know, I'm thinking of SSX when I listen to that. But yeah, I don't know. I feel racing. I want to race when I listen to this.
Yeah, I feel the same way with this project. I think that's the energy it gives. Two things in terms of production. Stars, I like a lot. I feel like a great use of the vocal chop on this one. And I think like this is probably the song where the tempo changes the most on the project. Excuse me, where there's times where like the actual like bass and drums come out.
Yeah.
It's more her vocals, and then it goes right back into it. And it's like, okay, we're back at the pace. So I think that actually works well. And then the other question I had for you is, did she get it right with the singles? Like, I think, you know, Tonight was the main single.
Love that track.
And then there was Stateside.
Like that one too.
I feel like she didn't get it right with the singles. Because those are probably the songs that I like the least on this project.
Wow.
They're still good, of course. But when I listened to the full project, I was like, I don't know how these were the two that stood out to you guys. So I guess you're saying that she got it right with the singles. Is that kind of where you're coming from?
I think I'm not as high on Stateside as she was, obviously, because she picked it. I'm more of an Illegal person.
Illegal for me too.
I think Illegal, if she started with Illegal, the tone around this mixtape would be a lot different. Because I think that just her, when you listen to Stateside, it's much slower than everything else that she has done. And also it's a lot more, the bass is like, everything is more buzzy, right? And that one is, again, another SSX. That one actually sounds like it comes straight out of SSX 3 or something like that. And I think that it sounds more old school because SSX 3 came out in like 2005 or something like that.
Yeah.
This is an old
which is old school now.
That's 20 years ago, by the way.
Yeah.
2005, 20 years ago. Yeah, so that sounds a little bit more old school. It sounds a little bit more of an old school track. Same with the music video. So I think I would have gone Illegal instead of Stateside. But I love that progression like halfway through, like a minute through, where it leaves that dun 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 dun, and it becomes more expansive, right? More ethereal. And her voice translates to pretty much every form of a music that she's attempting. So I like it, but it wasn't single worthy to me. That one feels like a cool deep cut.
Yeah, like my favorite song on here is Noises.
Ooh.
And Noises, I think, would have been the song I would have chosen as a single. It's a little faster, which I think works as a single. And I feel like this is kind of showing off her production chops in this song.
Yeah.
You know? So to me, Noises would have been the one that I would have chosen. Nice to Know You is another one that I'm like, it has kind of swayed me a couple times. Is like, is this my favorite? Is it this? Is it Noises? Because the beginning of Nice to Know You is a little bit ominous with like those strings and those chords. It's like, this is probably one of the few songs she actually has like some kind of intro.
I know.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
a little bit of setup.
Yeah, like she doesn't really do the intros that much. So it's the first time there's some kind of intro. And then when the drums do come in, yeah, there's some pace to it, but it's much slower than Noises. Like this almost feels like it could be I would say a normal person song. You know what I mean? Like it could fit into like a regular, pop format.
Yeah.
Even though quickly you realize it's not gonna be that. But for a second it's like, it could be.
Yeah.
It could be.
Much more dramatic. 2 minutes and 50 seconds. The second longest track on the entire on the entire mixtape.
Yeah, I think that's, and then you mentioned illegal. Illegal is something I have in here. I have it for my lyrics as well. Like,
Yeah,
illegal to me would have been like, gives me like first single, you know?
right.
Noises is like, okay, your second single, you got everyone's attention already, then you hit him with noises. Illegal is like, gives me first single vibes. But I can understand why they didn't choose it, because to me, it sounds like what people think she sounds like. Like, if you see any of those videos where they say, like, this is what Taylor Swift sounds like to a non-Taylor Swift fan.
Yeah.
To a non-PinkPantheress fan, illegal is what she sounds like.
Yeah, I agree. I will say this is my last thing for production. Is really quick. Girl Like Me, right? This is where my when I'm talking about this music sounds like it needs to be in a video game, like a racing video game. Girl Like Me uses a sample from Basement Jaxx called Romeo, right? In SSX3, Basement Jaxx has like, I think 2 songs in that, right? So that crossover that I'm talking about already exists. Like, she already is seeing, even if she's not, you know, like, I'm gonna make songs for video games. She's already seeing this through like some sort of looking glass that Basement Jaxx that Basement Jaxx incorporation into her music that was already used that was on SSX3 that they had a song there. So yeah, I just think the production is fantastic. I think her ability, because she produces all of her songs now.
Yeah.
Every single one of them she has production credits on. I think her understanding of the forms that she's in now, where she's talking about D&B and like house music and just like electronic music as a whole, and being able to incorporate these older forms, older artists. Basement Jaxx is old as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, Basement Jaxx is old music now. And to incorporate that and be like, oh, I'm gonna add, you know, like some chords here and like add some keys here and add some strings, you know, like we were talking about Nice to Know You, where it has this whole string introduction to a song. I think that her production chops are off the charts. And I think we need to be championing that, especially a Black woman making electronic music. And we're like, yo, her production is incredible and she produces every song. That is crazy. Like, something we really, really need to be talking about.
I would say I don't know if the masses knew that she wasn't producing every song. I feel like that's what a lot of people thought of her originally. I think, you know, you're probably breaking news for someone right now that this is almost a new thing for her in a sense. Because I think that she was known for her production early on.
She was known for her production, but it was other people producing it.
I don't know. I don't think everyone knew that.
Yeah.
I think the people who knew of her assumed that it was her.
Yeah, it's like people like Muramasa was one of those one of her big collaborators.
So I think it is kind of great for you to mention that, because I don't know if people knew that it wasn't her originally, and now it is. Especially when the production is better, but it's marginally better. Like, if you listen to her first album and this one, or first mixtape, and this one, as a casual fan, you're like, these don't sound too different to me. Right. So I'm happy that you mentioned that. My one piece of lyrics is Illegal.
Okay.
From verse 1. And
I love that song, man. I am actually in love with that song.
No,
go ahead.
Illegal's an absolute banger. But I think what I want from PinkPantheress is what I see here a little bit on Illegal.
Okay.
I feel like there's definitely some wittiness to her lyrically, you know, kind of more abstract stuff she can do lyrically. And I think that in the past, it felt very cookie cutter lyrically. And it was like the production is the point of the record. Now, that's very much still the case, but we're moving more in the direction where there is something happening lyrically. She says in verse 1, "My name is Pink, and I'm really glad to meet you. You're recommended to me by some people. Hey, ooh, is this illegal? Hey, ooh, it feels illegal. I've suffered quite a few times with paranoia. What's your name? I don't know what I should call you. Hey, here's 20 for you. Ooh, we're getting high around the corner." Now, this has been rumored online a lot that this song is about, you know, weed being pretty, I was pretty illegal, but, you know, pretty frowned upon in the UK.
Yeah, in England.
And I think that this is kind of an interesting take on it. You know, it's not Legalize It by Sean Paul. Like, it's not going that far. But it's still kind of like, you know, talking about that in a non-political way, which I think is interesting, but also kind of in a way of like, she's still doing it. It's almost like in the fun, childlike way of like, ooh, like we're smoking weed. Like, let's not get caught.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of the energy that this gives. And then I like that she started off this part saying, "My name is Pink. I'm really glad to meet you." How often have you heard her say like, "My name is Pink," or refer to herself in the third person in some of these records? I thought that was pretty cool. It kind of reminded me of what a lot of people do in hip hop, you know, of like talking about themselves, either using an alter ego or another name in the third person. So I like to see her do that. I'm like, I feel like there's something there. I want to hear more of her calling herself Pink, talking about herself. And what I really want to see is her talk her shit. I haven't seen as much of that on this project still.
Yeah, not really.
But that's what I think is the next step for her is to really start talking her shit.
Yeah, I think that she is a song. I mean, at the beginning of her career, she was more. I think that they define it as like a top line writer, where like everything is already assembled and she just kind of throws the lyrics together. But now she is, I would say, definitely more incorporated into the songwriting. Like she's definitely saying more things that are just like substantive, let's say.
Yes. Yes.
So I think that, you know, one of the fun ones lyrically is Stateside, right? Where she's like in the verse here, she's like, "It sounds insane, right? I'll take the same flight, wait at your bedside. I'll land right next to you. I'm going stateside where I'll see you tonight. Tell me, how did a girl like me get into you? You can be my American, you can be my American, So I think that even the storytelling, I think we mentioned this earlier on To Hell With It.
Yeah.
I think whichever one was the last one, it's starting to get jumbled in my head now. But the last project where she was doing more storytelling based on sort of scenarios that were interesting to her, or just fun, or not even fun, sad, actually very, very sad scenarios. And this one is a little bit more jovial, a little bit more life, a little bit more fun.
Yeah.
She is somebody that could do this now, where she could just fly and go visit somebody in across the Atlantic if she wanted to. And I just thought it was interesting that she is now putting more lifestyle lyrics into the music, right? Where before it was much more emotional, right? Lots of emotions, but now she's just like, I'll just catch a flight to America, just go hook up with somebody, why not? So I thought that was fun. And then my last bit of lyrics that I want to point towards is Tonight, where that hook is on fire, man. That hook is so good. And I'll read it out to everybody just one more time, because actually there's a little bit of like backstory to it. It's like, the hook is very simple. You want sex with me? Come talk to me. You want sex with me? Come talk to me. You want sex with me? Come talk to me. You want sex with me? Come talk to me. Come on, right? So the reason why I'm pointing this out is because her music did not involve sex at all in the past.
Yes.
She would never talk about sex, she would like, it's subtly in the lyrics, but not explicitly to the point where she's like, do you want to have sex with me?
Crazy.
And I find it just really interesting for her to get to that point where she's now talking about this. When she first broke out, I think she was like 19 or 20.
Yeah.
And now she's 24, and I guess she feels more comfortable talking about sex in her music. And it's just interesting to hear that be the hook, the hook to the track, a hook to the single, and probably the best hook on the entire fucking project.
I don't know if I say best hook, but I definitely noticed it when it was a single. I was like, okay, Pink, like, I see you.
Oh, you're calling her Pink now. Look at you.
That's the homie, Pink.
That's the homie.
Yeah, that was one that stood out to me, because I was like, this is not a part of her bag, basically, at all before. And I think why I like this, the way she does it, is because she's, you know, been self-proclaimed as someone who's a bit shy.
Yes.
And likes to make the first move. This hook still gives that kind of shy energy. You know, it's like, please, like,
yeah, come talk to me. Still come talk to me.
You know, so it still feels true to her, which I like. Of like, yeah, we've never seen this before, but it's not like, okay, who is this person? We don't even know this person at all. It's like, you're stepping out, you're getting older, you're growing up, but it's still true to you. So I like that a lot.
Yeah,
I think when you look at how this, you know, affects her career and what this means for her career, to me, this is another win.
Me too.
I think having so many back-to-back projects that are of this quality is just another win for her career.
Yeah, me too. I think I'm just stunned.
Mm.
She's one of the artists from this TikTok era, because she came out of TikTok, where the hype has matched the quality of the music. It's actually insane for it to be as high quality as it is.
Yeah.
Compared to when she broke out, it felt like you could not, on the internet, on my side of the internet, she was inescapable.
Yeah.
And she's a big time internet personality. So she could have been a person where she kind of had like one project or one song, rode the wave as just being an internet person, right? Which is totally in her realm and could have been done. But she's like, I'm an internet person. She's less internet person now, more just musician.
And like I said before, the music is bigger than she is.
Yeah, which is
for someone
crazy.
who's an internet presence like she was, that almost never happens.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about your girl Ice Spice. Where's Ice Spice right now?
Okay, relax. Not too much on Ice Spice, okay.
And it's like, I think about us having conversation about Ice Spice and you standing 10 toes for her and saying she's the greatest thing since sliced bread. You know, she's going to be here forever.
Wait, hold on. I don't remember saying that, but okay.
You know, paraphrasing here. But I think when you compare PinkPantheress to Ice Spice, like when they first linked up, people were saying she's a girl with that song with Ice Spice.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember telling you that. I'm like, I know in the corner of the internet that we're on, she's big, but a lot of people don't know who she is. She's the girl with the song with Ice Spice. I think some people probably still know her as that, unfortunately, but she's here when Ice Spice is not.
Yeah.
And she's a credible musician who's more known for her music than anything else.
Yeah.
And I think that to me is her continuing building the success of her career, because she does do interviews, she does do press. It's not like she's like, you know, a recluse. She's
it's a little bit low key though. She likes to keep it low key.
She keeps it low key, but I think like she's, you know, what currency called the best kind of celebrity is you only know her if you know her. You know, like if you are not a fan of PinkPantheress, you're not, you know, seeing her on your timeline. If you're not a fan of PinkPantheress, you're not going to see her outside and be like, oh my gosh, let me look at a picture. So I think her, you know, having both of those sides of her music is still blowing up and getting bigger, but she can still remain quote unquote low key. I think that's amazing. Yeah,
her aesthetic until recently with this album and this album art was very much normal. It's just very much a normal looking.
You don't still think it is? I still think it is. No?
Well, I would say now that it's like she has this all red plaid aesthetic going on. Very British. This is the second album that we've done recently where if you're British, they're just making it super British.
Yeah, it looks like a pajama top. But I understand it's a little different.
Well, if you're watching the music video for which one?
Talking about the red plaid, right?
Yeah,
looks
the red plaid.
Looks like a pajama top. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm also talking about in that video she's dressed up in like a Victorian dress.
Oh, like the Bridgerton type look. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's becoming a little bit more extravagant now. Whereas before she was literally just like wearing like whatever you would just see literally a black woman wearing.
Yeah.
Like she's just wearing regular clothes. So I think that is cool too. The cover. The cover, I love the cover. The flowers bursting out of the red. Red is my favorite color. But I think the flowers bursting out of it, I think her wearing the crown is funny. It's just so funny to me because she has never really proclaimed herself as some sort of queen or queen of England or anything like that. So it's almost kind of ironic for me seeing the cover because I'm a PinkPantheress fan. But yeah, I like the cover a lot. How do you feel about it?
I don't like it.
You don't like it? Really?
Yeah, I don't like it.
I'm surprised. Maybe.
It just feels a little too busy for me. I like the actual background more than the actual flowers, but her and the flowers is just, I don't know. It doesn't work for me. So I'm not into this cover. And as well, it's kind of like you can't really like see her in it. If that makes any sense. It's like it just feels like if you don't know who this is in this cover, like how is this gonna connect to you?
Okay.
You know, so not a fan of the cover.
Wow, I'm actually kind of surprised by that, but okay. Okay. Do you think it's a no skips?
It is a no skips.
Yeah, easily.
It is a no skips for sure.
Easily. Okay. Yeah. No skips. Is it a vinyl cop? If they would even make this on vinyl, this is like one side of the record.
Yeah, and I just don't like the cover.
Okay.
Like, so I just wouldn't want this vinyl in my collection. Like, it's an eyesore.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Well, we know.
Okay. I think the fans want to hear from you, the person who is not steeped.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Adriel, what is your score for PinkPantheress's Fancy That?
For me, this is a 7.5.
Okay.
I like this project a lot. This is probably the highest score a project can get, being 20 minutes. Like, like
you're really penalizing her for the time, eh?
Yeah, like this is not a full project, and it's like I get it. Everyone's born in 2004 now, and you've never been outside before. But when I was a kid, like this was not an album. This was not a mixtape even. This would not be a full length project. This is technically an EP. It's more songs than an EP, but the length of the actual project is an EP length. So this is about as high a score a mixtape is going to get with how short it is. But other than that, I think the production is really good. I think there is definitely some growth you see lyrically on here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the arrangements on here are some of the best that she's had on her project, including other producers. Mm-hmm. So the growth is clear. The cover definitely could do without. But
her cover game is, I would be honest with you, is a little bit lacking. I feel like she could be a little bit more interesting with it.
And this is kind of why I always bring up you being a super fan, because to me, she's auraless. And I feel like to you, she has so much aura.
I feel like, I actually think she is, I said, like, she's low-key.
No, but low-key and auraless are two different things.
Okay.
You can be low-key and still have aura. Like, I feel like she's auraless.
Okay.
Like, no swag, no drip, like none of that stuff.
I agree.
So it's I feel like even her success, I love it, because it's like, really do we get someone to be successful, especially as a woman in this area, where it's like you don't quote unquote dress well, you don't have that aura about you. So I'm happy to see it. 7.5 for me. I could be persuaded to go even lower.
Wow.
But I'm going to leave it at 7.5.
It's funny. You say auraless. It's also funny because sometimes she'll just bring her purse onto stage while she's performing.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you're a performing artist. You need to start putting things together here.
At least.
Her stage presence. Yeah, I do agree. Auraless is strong. I would say that plain. I feel like she's not trying to do it up.
Two things can be true.
She's not trying to do it up. So yeah. Okay. So my score for PinkPantheress, fancy that. I'm gonna say 8.5.
Okay.
I think her production is really good. I think it's more intricate now, but the previous albums had more pop to, like, not pop music, but like more. It was more explosive, right? To what is happening. I think the aesthetic of the racing aesthetic that she is accomplishing, I don't know if she's trying to go for it, but the racing aesthetic that she is accomplishing is a marvel.
Yeah.
I think that's really amazing. I think her singing, we didn't really talk about it much because it's been the same, hasn't really changed much. Very good. And I think that her writing is becoming stronger. From the first project to now, there is a very clear improvement on her songwriting. I think that I think it's very good. I think the only thing where I'm getting drawbacks on is like it's not as explosive as the previous projects.
Yes.
I think that these songs are really good. They're more intricate. The references are just much more minute and much more read. Like, you have to be more well-read,
Yes.
Like on Noises, she's sampling Nardo Wick.
Yeah, like it's like if you know, you know.
Yeah, and we're talking about Basement Jaxx, Nardo Wick, like we're talking about like not Drake, basically. So yeah, I think that it's really good. 8.5, really good. And I'm looking forward to her next work. She's on a heater. She's just been on a heater forever. Since the beginning, she's just been hot.
Yeah, no, she's in the group now where I think she's just not making bad songs.
Yeah, me too.
So I want to give her credit for that. I think the one thing that I would say about her and this project is I wonder how many new fans she's bringing in.
Oh, good.
Like, I think this is kind of the project to me where if you know of her and you have an idea of what she sounds like and, you're like, I get it, I don't really need to listen, this project doesn't change that. I feel like this project is good, but if you have an idea about her and you're not intrigued to listen more, this project does not change that for you. So I wonder what will happen going forward in terms of if that will even be a focus. Will that be something that they try and do? I'm just interested because I think we're showing almost two sides of the fandom where we're aware, like we have a ton of songs saved, There are people who I know who know who she is, and I'm like, I'm super cool. I don't want to hear any of it, or who have no idea who she is at all.
True.
And I think, like, for the people who know who she is and don't care to listen, or people who don't know who she is, I'm like, did any of those people gravitate towards this? My guess would be no, but in the comments, you can let me know.
Yeah.
Any new PinkPantheress fans, did you become a fan from this mixtape? That's what I want to know. Is this a mixtape that made you a fan of PinkPantheress? I doubt it. But, of course, let me know. I could be wrong. You can find us on all your interwebs, of course, at Album Mode Pod on Twitter, Album Mode Pod on TikTok, Album Mode Pod on Instagram, Album Mode Pod on YouTube. Okay, like this video, comment, and of course, make sure you're subscribed. And until next time, know yourself, know your worth.
Later days.